The chart in front of us is a daily chart of Bitcoin after the daily close today. We also have the weekly candle close right in front of us. If you do look at the price and the fluctuation, it kind of gives us certainty of what we are watching in this uncertain market. When we compare the Bitcoin to Ether, we have some difference here. When we compare that with XRP, we have some deviations. When we look at the entire altcoin market, we can see a zone of support. This is something you should not forget with short-term moves in the market. The moment you are on a 3-day chart, we are looking for a double bottom. We are looking for a support even, which is break to the downside, retest, get rejected, come back down here, make the previous resistance as a support, and then go back up. This scenario has higher odds where your buy positions, if you are holding on to it, has a higher level of certainty to go up. Because this way, what happens in the market is that the market kind of flushes a lot of people out by giving fake signals. And then it goes up, blow through before it come back down to retest this level. Understand that Ether has been performing better than the average because of the speculations of ETF. In the general market, when we are looking at AI and the total investments going on to that direction, it kind of shows you AI still is in the hype cycle. But the bigger picture here is not just AI. The bigger picture is this. And that's a big pot of money moving hands. That is a huge difference. Because when they have all these ETFs around the globe opening up, the time, the date, the region, so that new investors can enter, this matters a lot. When those who are in their 60s, 70s are taking decisions, they may move to gold. But those who are taking the same decision when they're 20s and 30s or even 40s, they would look at crypto assets way more than the older generation. So this matters a lot. Now, what about the price action? What can we see? What should we be looking for? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, on a weekly, this is what we are watching. We're getting so close to the monthly candle, showing us where it will end up this month. With that being said, look at the volume, look at the price action. That gives us some idea of where we are. 1. 2, when you're looking at the market, we kind of get to see, okay, if you are looking at last 30, 40 days, you don't have much of an asset which is performing very well. Last quarter, if you do look at this, you're watching meme coins doing very well. Then AI doing very well. Now the same assets are down for last 30 days, mostly down for last week. So the opportunities which you should be looking at is the macro direction, where it is favorable on the macro, which means easy thing. We're going to look at things like this in the video, where you will see the average fluctuation is to the upside. You went up, now you are here. Great. So what happens after this? You go back up, then come back down. So if this is what's happening inside a macro trend like this, you want to buy that asset during this phase when it is to the downside. In this example, if you are going to use Bitcoin, now you would most likely plot it like this, somewhat like this. When we try to plot this, we have to understand the support resistance zone would look like this. You tried multiple times to come down, so it was not a general downside like this, which was easy. You had multiple bounds before you went lower, and then tested that upside couple of times, failed and then broke to the upside. So it's not an easy move to the upside or to the downside, as we can see here. But if we try reducing the volatility, we would actually note something like this, inside which the time spent on the upside here and the time spent on the downside here is different. Or in the other words, the easy part for us to keep in mind is that the range at the top, you had more time, whereas the range close to that median was very, very short time. Now we are at that phase where you are close to that range. So if you are repeating the history, you should be looking for something like this, right? That means when we go down, I don't know how low we are going to go, but it may not look that good when we are going down. But right now, the thought process is how high we can go and how soon we may start. On a 3-day chart, this is what you're watching. You broke to the downside, you're retesting, you're getting rejected. If you break this low, it's not good. Now, to get better understanding, you slowly go into a weekly chart. You're looking at this particular candle. That's a hammer. You're looking at this particular candle, which just got closed on a weekly. And it shows you have wick to the upside. But the strength of that being an inverted hammer is what we are looking at. So the moment you get close to that and you take, okay, this is what just happened in the market. What can I learn? In inverted hammers, when you look at that, one thing to keep in mind is the size of the doji overall with the size of the wick and the candle. That makes a lot of sense. Here, if you have a long upper shadow, little to no downside movement with no shadow is okay to the downside. We have a lot of different variations of the same. We would have noticed things like, okay, you have a bigger open and close, but a long upper shadow, that's okay. What are we watching here? We have decent move to the upside for sure. We cannot neglect that fact. Say from the open to the long side, it's 3.4%. From the close to the upside, it's again 3.3%. So you're kind of almost close to the candle size and the wick size. So the strength of bulls are not highly visible. Yes, it is seen here that bulls are trying to enter the market, but not at a very, very higher pace on a weekly. Then you come on down here looking at that on the daily and you get to see, okay, we do have something like this forming here, which looks great at the moment, meaning inside the range, when you're coming to this level of support, it looks good. You're slowing down, you're getting bias. Or in other words, the easy form to understand this is, say the majority is anticipating a move to this side, including me. But Wales or someone else is coming into the market and saying, we may not want the price to be here. We would like to buy the price like this. You're not coming back to the exact lowest support. You're trying to bounce off from that range. What if this is going to be the ABC movement? If that ABC movement in the market happens, yeah, this becomes an important zone to look at. Can we break that to the upside? If we fail at 70, 7,500, okay, that ABC is over there. You would look for another choppy move to the downside. It would just take longer. Again, that would take the entire May out of what we were calculating in terms of the bullish market. Now, what if we break to the upside? That is a huge movement for us. Because then the market is showing you had all this kind of a pattern. You broke to the upside, retested, bounced. Perfect. So if you do break this, retest, and a bounce, this is what we are looking for. And that's exactly what we have seen in the pattern side of things over the time. Now, say you go on Ether. With all the speculations, with all that we are watching for Ether, it becomes a little bit more important. The trend line support shows you came back down to the trend line. You hit that level on a weekly and you're bouncing back. Okay, I want to break that down. How much strength do we have for this bounce? As of now, you're still below this. Agreed? That was the previous level of support. Right now, we are still below that level. Zoom in. You want to go on a daily? Fine. So unless we see that level is broken and you're above that, it's a little bit choppy here. Now, if you want the momentum, not a lot of pattern, not a lot of price action, I would say just use a Heikin-Ashi candle. Last time when you got this, it was clear right to the upside. Right now, are we going to do the exact same pattern? This is something you should be asking to yourself. Because the MACD suggests you're going to do that. The RSI suggests you may have higher odds of doing just that. Now say, okay, that's a daily. I want a little bit more certainty. I'm going on to a 3-day chart. Fine. Perfect. Where the hell are we? The 3-day, in my eyes, shows me that we're here. We may actually test this range, get rejected, retest the bottom, and then bounce. Maybe I'm wrong. But as of now, it does seem like you may test this range, you may come back down, then you may bounce back. This is a potential area of buying. Now, can it give a huge buying opportunity compared to the current price? It may not in terms of price to percent, right? The percentage of movement here would be 3 to 5%. It's not a huge move. It's okay. If you're looking to find close to the bottom, that's good. But right now, we also keep in mind, okay, is that micro 5% big for you? Or is the upside big for you? Do you care more about finding the bottom? Or do you care more about riding this train to the upside? Because I think that's more important. One of the easy part here is to look at the weekly chart. This is one of that thing which kind of gives you that idea, or if it's me, I would argue that you broke to the upside, you retested, and you got a green. Now, from that 13th March till the 17th April, kind of a month, you went to the upside consistently. Yes, it was choppy. There was a lot of volatility involved in the market, but you went continuously to the upside and you are still in the accumulation phase. That's important here. Now that you're above the accumulation, you're in the markup and you're trying to do this, what matters? Yeah, history does matter a lot. And if you do look at this on the historical side of things, you have one range where you break this one. Fine. Perfect. Good. Now here we are at that range. Just above it, here just below it. But if you do look at the accumulation range, you would actually say, okay, we break that to the upside, we still have this choppiness. We break to the upside, we still have this choppiness. Fine. So are we here in that one? Or are we here on a 3-day and daily that's visible? Say you argue that we're here. Fine. This is the next leg, not this, right? So even in that case, you're looking for what? Let's put that into perspective. The upside there is 180% from where we are. Take that movement. You're looking for what? $9,000 Ether. Is that a bad price for Ether? I don't think so. Even an 8, 9, 10K Ether is a huge thing for the crypto market as a whole, especially the altcoin side of things. I would say that's important because if you're trying to find the local bottom, these times it's going to be really, really, really choppy. Especially, come here, look at the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin because this matters a lot on a lot of altcoins as well. This is that range of choppiness which we are doing here. Now, if you do have a little bit more discipline, a little bit more patience, what are you waiting for? What are you looking at, right? You have a high, which is lower than the swing high. So here the market structure is like this. Big chops, right? Big chops. So maybe you're still going down. Maybe you're going to 59. On the micro level, however, you're looking at this. You had this kind of a move, you're choppy here. Can we do this to the downside? Because look at the structure here. Take the line chart. You had this drop, you're consolidating here. If you break this to the upside, yeah, fine, that's the bottom. If you don't, you may still break to the downside. You can come all the way back down to the 60 or even wick to the downside. So that's still on the table unless you see a breakout on this particular move. Now, do we see that the price is showing you that we are going to break to the upside? As of now, it doesn't. It went up, tested the moving average, got rejected. Need clarity? Go on a higher time frame structure. You are here on a 12-hour. You're just splitting that daily and you're watching this. Yeah, we broke to the downside. We kind of retested that and we didn't break to the upside. We're still at this range. So if you do break the 62,500 to the downside, okay, fine. Now look for 61. It's going to come back down. If you do see this breaking around 63,750, okay, now look for 66. That's okay. That's positive. As of now, you're still waiting for some clarity in the market. Say the 12-hour chart shows you that the momentum, the direction is still to the downside. So that's one of the reasons why I would say if Bitcoin can shake the market with more discipline and patience, you may get 5% down. But if you really don't care about the 5% to the downside, because the alt market is about to go to the upside, it doesn't matter much. Why? Because on a macro, you're looking at the entire market, the altcoin market, and you're looking at this and saying like, okay, maybe we are going to come a little bit down, but am I trying to get the absolute bottom? So if you are in Ether, you're looking for this where you're not looking for a lot of downside because of the current speculation. People are pushing that to the upside. Say you're in a lot of different altcoins except Ether. You want to see this particular candle turning green on a daily, on a 3-day, then you go in. For me, maybe I'm wrong, I'm looking for this. You come down, you retest, you do this wick and then go back up. This would make a lot more sense for me the way I'm looking at the market. Because last time you had somewhat similar movement in the price action. If that's true, yeah. By early May, mid-May, we're going to break this to the upside. By late May, we're going to test this all-time high and break to the upside. Something like this. You retest there and then go up. So if you do take the time from last run up, that was a 15 days to the upside, then a consolidation, then another 17 days to the upside. It only took a month to the upside. Now, say you want to look at that, including the breakout till the local top. That was 34 days. What the hell was it before that? This choppiness here was 29 days. From the bottom till that local top was 70. Now, what's most important is this. 66% move to the upside took 70 days. And from this local bottom here to the upside here, which is 75% upside, took what? 34 days. Half that time. So if we are going to perform something like that, the momentum is going to be much bigger, which means maybe you're going to do that in 20 days. In 20 days, you're going to do a 80% move from the local high, which is like, going all the way up to like $1.1 trillion in the market, which is literally at the all-time highs for the altcoins except Ether. And that's a lot to see in the current market, which is going to be a huge opportunity for you, me, and everyone else in the market. And that's one of the reasons why the SI family is really focused on what we are doing here. We're going through a lot of different assets, breaking things down to see some of these assets are below macro support. You want them to break higher or you don't want to put more money there. If it's above that, if it's retesting that and bouncing, wow, you want that asset in your portfolio. You want, now, if it's 5 assets doing the exact same thing, highly correlated, no. Have 1 or 2, not all 5. Look for different correlations in the same macro structure, above a macro support. Fine. You get the edge in the market. So if you want that, look at the SI family. The link to join is in the description below in YouTube or in the bio on Twitter. So guys, if you did get value and you haven't smashed that like button yet, I would request, smash that. Yeah, what are you waiting for? I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.